Hey Manchester United fans, it's Pepe here. Just done a little video looking at the summer transfer signings I think Man United need to create a starting 11 which I think could challenge for Champions League place again and be up there with Liverpool and Man City, because I think the team that we put together is probably going to be better than Tottenham's and Arsenal's and Chelsea's. Looking at it the way I'm seeing it right now, obviously you got to keep David De Gea in goal. You got to give him a new contract. You know, he's been brilliant for United, and he's been the difference between Europa League and finishing outside Europa League at times. He's also been a difference for Man United in the past between winning the league and not. And goalkeepers like him, they're worth the weight in gold, and you just shouldn't let him go for free. Definitely not. And I can't see anybody right now they would have to replace him. I think they would probably give Joe Pereira a go if he came back from loan and David De Gea left. Now we have Thomas Meunier. £25 million signing from Paris Saint-Germain would be really good business. It's about €28 million, that maybe 30. But £25 million for a Belgium international who plays at right back, gets forward, very attacking. He's like 6'1", strong. You know, he's going to be somebody I think that could fit really well in the Premier League. Wouldn't need too much time adjusting or anything like that. Diego Dalot, he needs some time to come through. Ashley Young cannot play right back. However, he signed up for United for another season, so it's probably best that you keep him as cover for Luke Shaw at left back. But Thomas Meunier I think would be a great signing for the right side of defence for Man United. £25 million would be an absolute bargain. And speaking of bargains, Diego Godin, the Sentinel, the absolute Captain Marvel of Atletico de Madrid for over a decade I think. He's on a free transfer, he's on a Bosman signing, and he doesn't fit the profile of a United player with his age, but United right now need some experience. They need somebody to come into that centre of defence and actually command it and calm everybody down, and I think David De Gea needs that as well. I think he needs that commanding presence, somebody who can read the game and direct players. You know, if you think of, Steve Bruce, Gary Pallister, Nemanja Vidic, Rio Ferdinand, Manchester United have had some great centre halves, and I think they need that kind of quality again, and Diego Godin fits the bill. And if you play him alongside Victor Lindelof, who's probably the best footballing centre back Manchester United have, which isn't that difficult when you got Phil Jones and Chris Smalling, but yeah, if you play him alongside Victor Lindelof, I think it'd actually help develop him, and Victor Lindelof would gain him more confidence. And people are talking about Harry Maguire joining Man United. Leicester are going to want 60-70 million for him minimum. You've got Lindelof there who can perhaps do the same thing, come forward with the ball, carry it out of defence, make sure there's a nice simple pass carrying on the play into the midfield. He actually is quite quick, he's strong, he's good in the air. He needs confidence, but for me, as a centre half, he's a little bit quiet, and he probably needs to toughen up a little bit, to be fair. And you've got Luke Shaw here at left back, which completes the defence, with David De Gea in goal, Thomas Meunier at right back, Diego Godin, Victor Lindelof and Luke Shaw in defence. Luke Shaw's gotten better and he was more consistent under Jose Mourinho. I haven't heard too much criticism of him whilst he's been playing under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I think that's partly because a lot of players have been playing worse than he has. But I think he's also been quietly just getting on with it and being consistent. So I think Luke Shaw's developing. He's a good player. There's definitely room for him at Manchester United. He's made a commitment to stay. He's got himself really fit. He's got a new diet. He's doing everything he can to put himself in that starting 11 week in, week out. And you gotta give him credit. He's actually one of the players that's really knuckled down. Here we have Jesse Lingard. Now Jesse Lingard, it says right midfield here on his card. I'd play him in that central midfield role in a 3, where Dele Alli plays for Tottenham Hotspur. If you think Tottenham have Sissoko, Dyer and Ali in midfield, I'm sorry, but Manchester United can put together a better midfield than that, with a new signing coming in to play alongside Jesse Lingard and Paul Pogba in the middle of midfield. Jesse Lingard can make those runs and break the lines. He can go support the attack. He's very creative. He deserves his chance in the starting 11 week in, week out. He's earned it, and he can play that central midfield role. But he needs a couple of players in midfield to allow him the licence to go forward. And we know United played a 4-3-3, so I'd put him on the right side of the 3. Paul Pogba now, I'd play him on the left side of a 3 in midfield, and I would allow him a bit of licence to go forward. Now he's a very creative player. He's a very strong player. He really should be bullying teams the way that Patrick Vieira used to do for Arsenal. He really should be in his stride. He should be more commanding. He should be more vocal on the field. He should be leading, and for the money United have paid for him, it's ridiculous really that his performances have been subpar. There has been times where he's been better than most on the field, but it's been too few to mention, and he's had a bad season, and I think falling out with Jose Mourinho didn't help. I think his confidence needs picking up, and I think if you bring one of his mates into midfield to help him, then you'll do just that. And as Ander Herrera is going to Paris Saint-Germain on a free transfer on a Bosman, why not get Adrien Rabiot on a free transfer on a Bosman signing from Paris Saint-Germain? I think he's a better player than Ander Herrera. He's 6'2", he's strong, he's young, he's 24, he's or thereabouts, he might be 25 now, but he's French international. And if you play him in that holding midfield role, and you have him there in that kind of Matic role right now, I think he's a better player than Matic. And with Pogba and Lingard either side of him, he's got plenty of pace, players will carry the ball forward. He's actually got a bit of a pinger on him. He can ping the ball from 25 yard, Rabiot, 30 yard if he gets a sighter, much like Matic can, but again it's few and far between. But Rabiot on a free transfer would be an incredible signing. And here's James Rodriguez, £37 million from Real Madrid. He's been on loan at Bayern Munich. They had the option of signing him for £37 million, which works out around 45 million euros. And yeah, they had the option to sign him, and I don't think they're taking it up. But he's a right winger who cuts in onto his left foot. He can also play behind the striker. I think in the Premier League he's going to have to play a bit wider. I think he just would be kicked from pillar to post in the middle of the park. But I would genuinely play him to the right hand side of Marcus Rashford. I think his pace, the ability he's got to dribble past players, his ability to shoot from range as well, to go beyond the man, is brilliant. And with his pace and Marcus Rashford's pace up front, they would be absolutely terrifying defences. Marcus Rashford needs other players up around him who's going to do that work, and who is going to be tactically sound. And James Rodriguez, being at Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, has learnt a lot, and he's very tactically sound. He's a very good player, very talented, and I think he would give Marcus Rashford a lot of assists. And Rashford needs a Rooney season where he gets past that 20-25 goal mark, and then Rashford will come into his own. He's grown as a player. He's had 4 or 5 years now in the first team squad, and he needs to make that number 9 slot his own, and I believe he can do that. He just needs the support up front, and Rashford could easily be a 25 goal season striker in the Premier League. And I think if you put Hirving Lozano, who would cost £28 million from PSV Eindhoven, on the left hand side of him, with James Rodriguez on the right, you've got incredible pace, incredible direct running style, dribbling past players, taking a man on. I mean, if you look at how Liverpool, and United fans aren't going to like this, but if you look at how Liverpool have played with Salah and Mane either side of Firmino, I mean, they get the ball from the wider positions or from deep, and they run with it, and they go past defenders, and they terrify the midfield and the defence, and break that line in between the midfield and defence. Lozano and Rodriguez could do that for Manchester United, and with Rashford up front, who I think is a better striker than Firmino, and scores more goals than Firmino, I think, and Firmino's a quality player, don't get me wrong, I think they would do really well. Whether they could win a title, that's the big question.